The drums beat loudly in the heart of Benin Kingdom, their deep rhythm shaking the ground. It was the great Ugie Festival, a time of celebration, music, and dance. The royal palace was alive with color, women in bright wrappers, men in coral beads, warriors standing tall, watching over the king's guests. In the middle of the palace courtyard, Ife, the most beautiful maiden in Benin, danced gracefully. Her red beads swung around her neck, her waist moved like river waves, and her anklets jingled with every step. The people cheered, but one pair of eyes never left her, Prince Idahosa, the first son of the Oba. Ife was a commoner, born into a family of bronze casters. Idahosa was the future king. Their words were never meant to mix. But the way he watched her, with fire in his eyes, told another story. As she danced past him, he reached out and grabbed her hand, pulling her close. Gasps filled the air. The music stopped. Ife's heart pounded in her chest. The Oba, King Obanosa, stared at his son, his face like stone. "Leave her," the king said. But Idahosa did not let go. "I love her," he declared. The palace fell silent. No prince had ever married a commoner. The elders shook their heads. The Oba's eyes darkened. "She is not for you," he said firmly. "Choose from the daughters of chiefs, or leave her and remain my son." Idahosa's grip on Ife tightened. "I choose love." A sharp cry of shock spread through the crowd. The Oba rose from his throne, his robe flowing like the waves of the great Niger River. "So be it," he said. "From this moment, you are no longer a prince of Benin." The guard stepped forward. Idahosa took Ife's hand and ran, pushing through the crowd as the drums started again, not in celebration, but in warning. They ran into the night, leaving the palace behind. Ife and Idahosa fled into the deep forest outside the kingdom. Fireflies lit their path, but fear followed closely behind. The Oba would not let this insult go. His own son, running away with a mere dancer. In the distance, the sound of warriors on horseback echoed through the trees. Ife was breathless. "We should stop. If they catch us." "They won't," Idahosa said. "We'll go far away, to a place where no one knows us." But where could they go? The Oba ruled all of Benin. His reach was long. Days passed. They hid in the homes of kind strangers, moved at night, and never stayed in one place for too long. But hunger, exhaustion, and fear started to wear on them. Then, one night, as they rested in a small village, Ife woke up to the sound of hoofs. The warriors had found them. Idahosa and Ife ran again, their feet pounding against the dirt road. The warriors chased them, shouting, their torches lighting up the dark. Then, just ahead, a man stepped into the road. It was Osaze, Ife's childhood friend. He had once loved her, but she had never returned his feelings. "Come with me," Osaze said. "I'll hide you." There was no time to think. They followed him to a hidden hut deep in the forest. For a moment, it seemed they were safe. But that night, while Idahosa slept, Ife sat by the fire with Osaze. "Why are you doing this for us?" she asked. Osaze smiled. "Because I love you. I always have." Ife felt a chill in her bones. "If you love me, help us escape." Osaze's smile faded. He stood up and walked to the door. "I did help you," he said. "I helped you walk into the Oba's hands." Before she could react, the door burst open. Warriors stormed in. Idahosa woke up too late. They grabbed him, dragging him outside. Ife screamed. Osaze had betrayed them. "I'm sorry, Ife," Osaze whispered. "I couldn't let you go." The warriors took Idahosa back to Benin to face his father's judgment. The palace was quiet when Idahosa was thrown before the king. The Oba stared at his son, disappointment heavy in his eyes. "You have dishonored the throne," he said. "And for what?" The woman. Idahosa, bruised but unbroken, looked up. "For love." The elders whispered among themselves. The chiefs shook their heads. "She is not your destiny," the Oba said. "You were born to rule. A king's heart belongs to his people, not to one woman." Idahosa clenched his fists. "Then I will not be king." The Oba sighed deeply. Then, he turned to the guards. "Take him to the dungeon. He will stay there until he remembers who he is." Ife was brought into the palace, her hands tied. She fell to her knees. "My king," she begged. "I never wanted this. I love your son, but I did not want to steal him from you." The Oba studied her, his expression unreadable. Finally, he spoke. "You are not to blame." A pause. "But you can never see him again." Tears rolled down Ife's face. "Please. I will not kill him," the Oba said. "But if you truly love him, you must set him free." Ife was given a choice: leave Benin forever, or watch Idahosa die. She had no power, no weapons, only her heart. One night, she snuck into the dungeon, where Idahosa sat in chains. When he saw her, his eyes lit up. "We are leaving?" he asked. Ife's heart broke. She touched his face gently. "No, my love," she whispered. "I'm leaving." His smile faded. "What?" "I can't let you suffer for me." Idahosa shook his head. "Ife, no." She kissed him one last time. Then, she turned and walked away. By sunrise, Ife was gone. Idahosa was released weeks later, his heart shattered, but his duty clear. He returned to the palace, took his place beside his father, and became the king Benin needed. Ife never returned. But legends say that, on certain nights, when the drums of Benin play, you can still hear the footsteps of a dancer, moving to the rhythm of a love that never truly died. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, follow, like and share with families and friends.